A winless season is exactly what Mercedes need, bro. For them to win next year and challenge the RB20, they need to make significant improvements, and I think we all know that. But a lot of people I've seen online bashing Mercedes, saying that they have got no chance of doing that. And Brazil 2023, I think, is actually a benefit to them. Not only is it a benefit for the 2024 W15, but I think it's exactly what everyone needs, a bit of humble pie to the team of Mercedes, so they know exactly what they're doing for next year. If we go back just 1 year, we look at 2022, it was almost a false hope. George Russell, he won the 2022 Sao Paulo Grand Prix, and it was a 1-2 for Mercedes. And although at the time that seemed like a very good result for Mercedes, brilliant, it was actually hindering them in the long term. For 2023, that completely ruined their season because it made Mike Elliott and the aerodynamics team continue pursuing what was a wrong concept pretty easily. You know what I mean? That was a wrong concept, bro. It's pretty simple to say like that. But they continued it because they won in Sao Paulo. So they thought, okay, we go into next year, we continue on this trajectory and we should be able to bring it to to Red Bull, bring it to Max Verstappen. And yeah, Bahrain came and they said, shout me, mate, we're not there. You know what I mean? So they were obviously not there and not able to bring that performance, but I'm confident that they'll bring that in 2024. Now, a lot of people in the comments may be saying, what are you talking about, mate? You're absolutely waffling. There's no chance that they're going to be able to do that. But I honestly believe that that's exactly what's going to happen. And why do I think that? If we go back to 2020, actually, Mercedes had the most dominant season in years and the most dominant season that the sport has seen in a very long time, maybe since Michael Schumacher. And that's the exact same that's happening right now with Max Verstappen in 2023, obviously to a more severe extent. But what happened the following year, in 21? Red Bull came with the mad thing, bro. Red Bull came with a car that could actually fight. And why was that? I don't think that was a coincidence. That the next year, after one of the most dominant seasons, was one of the closest, in fact, the best season I've witnessed. And I've been watching Formula One since I was born, basically. You know what I mean? And that's the best season I've ever witnessed, 2021. And that came as a result of Red Bull getting slapped in the face in 2020. Mercedes demonstrated it was superior in every aspect to the Red Bull in 2020. And the Red Bull came back in 21. And that was a comeback. I'll give it to them. That was an absolute comeback, mate. I'll give it to them. That was brilliant. And I think it's the same thing right now in 2023, what we're seeing right now. Mercedes, they need to get slapped in the face. They need that, hypothetical. They just need that humbling so they can come back next year with something brilliant. And I trust that James Allison can do that. And that's not the only thing. What went wrong for Mercedes was simple. They went with a concept that they thought they could really bring it to Max Verstappen. They thought they can bring it to Red Bull with the concept that they had. And that's because of Brazil. This year, there's no doubt that was the worst race that Mercedes have had I don't remember the last time they've had a race that bad. But this is what they need, because they know now 100% there's no chance this concept is going to go anywhere, bro. They need to change it immediately. They need to get off it. And so that's what they need. So now they can finally switch off this concept and get onto the W15, which we know James Allison. It's basically Messi v Ronaldo, bro. You know what I'm saying? James Allison, Adrian Newey. You know what I'm saying? I can't like Adrian Newey. That's a serious guy, man. You know what I'm saying? James Allison as well, he's a serious guy. And look, he just came back in. I know everyone's saying, look, Mike Elliott left the team. Even I'll put on screen now some of the statements James Allison has said, that they don't know. They hope to find out what the problem is. Toto Wolff has stated that he thinks it's a fundamental problem with the W14, which is what we've kind of been saying the whole season. The W14 has run on such a small spectrum. It's why they're not good in the rain. It's why they're not good in certain tracks. They need to be right in the right window. And if they come out that window, they're finished, bro. You look back at some races this season, whenever the Mercedes is not in that sweet spot, they can't perform. It's not a coincidence that in Texas, Austin, which was probably one of the better races this season, Hamilton was right on Verstappen. It's not a coincidence that they've come into Sao Paulo and they're way off the pace. They've obviously risen the ride height to quite a significant degree. Toto Wolff has said it himself, but he doesn't believe that that's the fundamental problem. He thinks a couple millimeters is maybe a couple tenths, but over a second off the pace. Mate, Pierre Gasly was going around Lewis Hamilton like he was a back marker, bro. You know what I mean? That was not a joke. Had this not happened to Mercedes, they would have gone into the 2024 season with a W15, not knowing that the car when it's slightly out of the window, completely messes with the car, but not to that extent. This is the worst we've seen. And had this not happened, let's say 2023, both the Mercedes were there fine with Verstappen and Lando Norris, that would have been bad for them because they would not have known that there's something, if they get slightly out the window, how dramatically it can affect them. And I think this is the exact kick in the teeth that they need, like Red Bull in 2020. It's the kick in the teeth they need to propel themselves forward. And I think going into 2024, you're going to see, as we speak, back in the factory in Brackley, Mercedes are obviously going into depth now, trying to find out what's wrong with the car, what fundamentally went wrong, trying to diagnose the problem. Because it's not normal. What can take the car from being second in Mexico, second in Austin, to now being over a second off the pace? And you see, if they don't get to the bottom of that problem, they're not going to be able to dominate. They're not going to be able to improve. In crypto terms, this is the dump before the pump. You know what I mean? This is the last people leaving before the pump and before it rockets. The same way Red Bull in 2020 were not there. The next season, they came with their best season yet. Mercedes now are in that exact same boat. They've lost everything. They're even losing Mike Elliott, who was very much a part of the domination that they had for so many years. And now coming into 2024, they've got their backs against the wall, which is exactly what Mercedes need. I think now they've got a better chance than they've ever had in the last couple of years. 2022, they did not have a chance because they fundamentally got it wrong. And in 2023, they continued with that because of what happened in Sao Paulo, bro. You go back to why that was. That one win that they had in 2022 was actually detrimental to the whole 2023 season. I think that 2022 win from George Russell by itself had long-term effects. That was responsible. That single win was responsible for the whole of the next year. 2024 was completely because of Mercedes. It was because of, 2023 was completely because of George Russell's win. Not George Russell, Mercedes. Because the fact that they won, it gave them the arrogance that they thought, okay, yeah, let's just continue with this. We can continue the performance, which obviously was not the case. And now going into 24, they haven't got that to rely on. They know for a fact that even though as bad as that race was, fundamentally, they know now that, look, we have to change this, bro. And it gives them confidence in that aspect. So now that they know 100% we're changing the concept, at the end of the day, Mercedes, people bashing Mercedes, but at the end of the day, they're the only ones who can bring the fight to Red Bull. Let's not get twisted. You know what I mean? McLaren, a lot of people say McLaren can, and I'll give it to McLaren. They've done a 360 ankle breaker, 90th minute buzzer beater, mate. They hit that. Because the way they 180'd was absolutely crazy on some Steph Curry stuff. Because at the start of the season, mate, they were back markers, mate. Stinkers. And they came, you saw what McLaren done. And if anyone can do what it takes to catch Red Bull in 2024, it's Mercedes. It's the factory team. Look, it's back to the ABCs. At the end of the day, the custom team should never be able to beat the factory team. And sure, they're doing that now. But in the long term, the factory team, you look at Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Haas, they will never beat Ferrari. It just doesn't make sense. Alfa Tauri is never going to be faster than Red Bull. McLaren and Aston Martin, they're not going to beat Mercedes if Mercedes get their head in the game in 24. And when they when they maximize their potential, the Mercedes is the only one who's going to be able to stop Red Bull. And that's just that's the facts of the situation, bro. Like, let's not get it twisted. They're the only ones who can do it. And I think it's exactly what they need. 2023, that race right there is crucial. And literally in 2024, I promise you, this race, I'll come back to this race and let you know, this was the spark that they needed to bring the 2024 season to life. And I think that 2024, look, I'm hoping for another 2021. You guys let me know in the comments what you think, man. You know how it goes, man. The bill, I'm out here, brody. Peace, bro.